Hey, it's KT from the Ben and Skin Show, and you're listening to the Drunk Sports Podcast with Big Red and IndyCar Tim. Talking sports, current events, guy stuff, and everything in between. Now open up a cold one and drink along, because here they are, Lance and Tim.
You can buy me a drink.
We're all drunk.
Absolutely.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Drunk Sports Podcast. I'm IndyCar Tim, along with my favorite partner in the whole world,
Big Red, baby.
Mr. Big Red, baby, and I forgot what button it was already. There it is. And we have a special episode for you tonight. We are live from Studio 69 at Casa Not So Grande. We've got a special golf preview episode for you. It's the fourth golf preview that we've done. Let's see, we did the Masters, the PGA Championship, the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial, and now we are previewing the 2019 PGA Memorial Tournament, Jack's Tournament.
It's one tournament that's still called what it's supposed to be, just the Memorial.
It is the Memorial. And as all episodes are, this episode is brought to you by our good friends over at the Highlands Performance Golf Center in Carrollton, Texas. And Mr. John Gerber, one of the PGA teaching pros there, he's going to join us here in just a few minutes on the phone, and we're going to discuss a little bit about who you might expect to win, some odds for the winners, picks, anything else Memorial related that we can throw at you. I believe we're going to talk a little bit about the Colonial that just ended for a few minutes.
Yep. We can get a little recap.
Do a little recap for that. How did his picks turn out?
He might have got lucky.
He might have got lucky, or he might just know what he's talking about, to be quite honest with you.
I'm afraid he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, we've got a jam-packed golf show for you this midweek episode. So, Lance, you were actually at the Colonial on Sunday, correct?
Yes, I was. Yeah, we set. We got invitations from Charles Schwab and set at the Charles Schwab Chalet at the 13th tee. I got to sit right behind the damn tee box and watch pros hit lasers at the green at 13. It was cool, man. It was fun. That place brings back lots of memories for me, but it was really fun. Stacey and I had a good time. Again, thank you, Katie and Jason, for inviting us out.
Did you say that Charles Schwab invited you? Like himself, the man?
I may have seen him, but no, I did not get a personal invitation from.
Oh, is that a real person? Because I was unaware.
I did not get a personal invitation from Chuck. No.
Mr. Chuck Schwab. All right. But I saw some pictures from Sunday. It looks like you guys had a really good time.
It was awesome. Yes, it was. It was awesome. And yes, this is all brought to you again by the great folks at the Highland Performance Golf Center in Carrollton, Texas. John Gerber and Chris Bussell out there, and the other 6 pros. They're at 2538 Golden Bear Drive in Carrollton, Texas, 75006. And you can reach those folks at 972-733-4111. Get yourselves out there and get a lesson from Johnny. Let Bus show you around, and let's get your golf game where you want it to be. So we have on the line Mr. John Gerber.
What's going on, fellas? How you doing this evening?
How are you, Johnny?
I'm doing great, guys. I'm sitting here with two of my favorite people in the world, Mr. Jeb Brown and Mr. Tom Brown, and Taco Diner in the shops of Legacy, enjoying this little rainy night. But we got a great golf tournament starting tomorrow, and see if we can get some winners in a little preview like we did last week. And I think you guys look a little tired from hopefully all the money you guys are counting from the winners last week.
Well, I mean, some of us get to count money and some of us get to give it away. And those of us that put money where your mouth is are counting it, and those that aren't are not. So
some of us got to count empty beer cans and vodka bottles from Sunday night at the lake. That's what we got to count.
Well, you're counting something anyways, buddy, so that's a good thing.
I can count to more than 10, that's for sure.
I'm counting hangovers, and that's you get to the age that I'm at, and that's what I tend to count more than anything else is the headaches and the hangovers that I have from one weekend to the next, hanging out with you younger folks.
So we talked about last week on the preview show for the Colonial, John. You talked about some odds. You picked some winners for us, and some
potential winners.
Some potential winners that you thought had a good chance. Lance has updated me on your picks, and apparently you did quite well.
Yes, his one of his top picks was Mr. Kevin Na, who did win the golf tournament. And a simple $150 bet might have cleared you about $7,500 with your closest sports book.
That's correct, sir. And I think I gave you a little insight, Big Red, on the senior PGA Championship winner.
Yeah, and I actually did mention that on the air. That was what was that?
Mr. Ken Tanagawa. There's a little insight about Ken that Ken grew up in Columbus.
No, it's not. It's not Tanaka.
It's not Tatanka.
No, it's not. It's definitely not Tanaka. I know it starts with a T, and there's an A and an N at the very first three letters, but after that it goes a little bit different.
Okay, but we were close. So yeah, but so you got two winners this week, and our two winners last week. Let's hope you can keep it going. And what I did mention to Tim also is that in the 20 weeks that you've done this, you are 5 of 20 in picking winners. And whenever you
five of 20. You might not think that's very good, but out of 156 per se event field.
right.
5 of 20 at 25%.
I think we've got a ringer, boy. I think we've got a ringer on the line with us, and
well, listen, guys, I've hit some foul balls. Let's be clear. The 15 other spots that I definitely did lose. I won't lie to you. Probably 10 of them weren't close, and maybe one guy fell in the pond that I picked was a clear-cut favorite. He maybe fell down, broke an ankle, did some other things. So. Listen, like I told you guys when we first started, it's a lot of this is horses for courses. Who's playing well? Who's healthy? It's a long PGA Tour season. If you look at a lot of the winners on the PGA Tour, there's a lot of repeat winners. So these guys structure their schedule. There's so much money out there that they play golf courses that they play well. They play golf courses they have great results. I'm not saying I just don't flip coins. I study it. I know the golf courses. I know the players, and
you know this golf course this week as well as anyone. Am I right?
Do we still have you, John?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay, great.
You seem to cut out for a second. We know that you know this golf course pretty well, right?
This is a golf course. First off, I grew up around the Dublin, Columbus area. I went to this tournament as a kid, a bit like you, Big Red, going to the Colonial. I have a lot of friends that are members. I'm very fortunate enough to play the golf course, 3 or 4 times a year with some members. I played in some pro-ams there. It's one of those golf tournaments, with the exception of the majors. You have your 4 majors. The Players Championship, it's probably that next tier, revered by the tour players, that that's their premier event.
Oh yeah,
it's a limited field.
Absolutely.
It's not 56. It's an invitational. I believe there's 92 players in the field this year. It's really special to me growing up there, walking around the course, going from your listeners, going to the Bogey Inn, which most people know if they've been there before, having a milkshake at Murfield Village. It's just a really special place to me, and I'm fortunate to grow up in that area, and I'm fortunate enough to play that golf course a lot.
Well, I also know that you happen to have a young man there with you, our buddy Jeb Brown, who got to experience that golf course last summer. And I've heard a couple of tales from him that maybe that wasn't quite as. I mean, it was a great weekend and he had fun, but I think the Muirfield opened a can of Jack's whip ass on him.
Well, Jeb's a pretty good player.
Jeb's a great player.
I think he realized playing that golf course, he realized how good those guys were, and he realized that how mad he gets on the golf course at sometimes. So it was a fun couple of days.
Who doesn't?
There last year. It was about this time. About
Nobody gets quite as mad as Jeb does.
Yeah, that's part of his personality, right?
That's why we love him.
If he doesn't get mad, there's something wrong with him.
Yep.
So, yeah, like I said, I was very fortunate to be able to bring him up there, coming from Dallas to play Muirfield Village a couple days, hosting there. It's like I said, I believe it's the 8th best golf course rated in the country now. These guys are playing this week. The guys are winning. The guys in their top 10. You're realizing how good these guys are when they shoot 10, 12, 14 under. That's about what the score is going to be, weather pending. This time of year, weather is always spotty. It's springtime in Columbus, Ohio. The golf course has a tendency to play soft, rough, things like that. If you hit it out of the rough, it's he likes to penalize you when you don't drive it well. And like I said, I think these guys, and I know these guys revere this golf tournament outside the majors, outside the Players Championship, as the best golf tournament on tour.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. But based on, I think that Jack's tournament and before he passed Mr. Nelson, I think Mr. Nelson always had a good turnout because guys wanted to come out and show respect for Mr. Nelson, and so
let me ask you something real quick, John. Kind of in that regard, we know that after Lord Byron passed, attendance, participation, I should say, from the PGA pros sort of dwindled a little bit at his tournament out here in Irving. Right. And I hate that. Tiger seemed to show up, of course, for Byron pretty well, but I don't believe he's played in the tournament. I may be wrong since Byron has passed, but
no.
Do you anticipate the same thing happening when Jack leaves us?
Well, I understand what you're saying, but not really, and here's why. Tiger hasn't played the last few years, obviously, with personal scenarios and injuries and him coming back. But this is a golf course that is his favorite golf course on tour.
Well, he's won out there like what, 5 times?
5 times.
Yeah, 5 times, winning the golf tournament 5 times.
I'm gonna keep playing.
They've done something really cool up there. Jack kind of passed the torch to Jack Jr., his son. He is the tournament director now. Jack doesn't spend a lot of time in Columbus much anymore, or the Dublin area. He's there a lot in the summer, from my understanding, from my friends that are members. He's mostly in West Palm. But he still has his hand and his fingerprint on the tournament. And, I think with Jack Jr. kind of taking it over, that'll continue. Tiger's the guy that's a creature of habit. He's going to play 20 tournaments a year. He's going to play the majors, with the golf championships, and he's going to play Memorial.
Yeah.
That's just my.
No, and I hope you're right. I'd hate to, and like I said, I hate to see that the Nelson has dwindled. Although I guess I kind of understand it a little bit, but as you mentioned, this is more of out at Muirfield. Was it Muirfield Valley?
Muirfield Village.
Village. Sorry.
If you say Valley, they'd be a little upset there, but it's Valley's probably not the right word, but.
That's why Tim's not a member.
Going back to what you said about the Byron Nelson tournament, I think this year, like we talked about last show, it kind of got squeezed into some things that. With the PGA Championship, a lot of guys with the tradition of the Colonial wanting to play there. I think they're going to have in the next couple of years the unfortunate scenario of being squeezed in some major events and being squeezed to pick and choose in their spots. I think a lot of those guys, if they have to choose between Byron Nelson and the Colonial, I think they're going to choose the Colonial.
Have you heard any complaints from anybody playing the course about course conditions out at the Nelson? It seems like I was watching it a few years ago, and it wasn't due to rain or weather or anything, but the course, it did not look like it played well. I don't know if that's just me looking at it on TV wrong, or do you know anything about that?
Yeah, for some of my guys that are playing out there and actually played in the Byron Nelson, when it moved to Trinity Forest, I think there's I don't want to be negative here. I have a lot of friends that play that, and I think that golf course, you either love it or you hate it. And I think a lot of the tour guys initially, it's a different golf course for them. And when you go from playing the Byron Nelson, which is, that type of golf course, it's more of a links golf course, and then you're going to the Colonial, your game has to change so much. It's completely different. So those guys, I don't know if they definitively embraced it. And here's the problem I think they're going to have. I don't really know what's going on for keeping it at Trinity Forest, but I don't know if they're going to have it there long enough logistically, where it's at, people going down, spectators, XYZ, to give it a really good chance. I think I don't know for a fact. I think there's some things in the works. Obviously, with the PGA of America moving to Frisco, I think there's a lot of rumors going around right now that tournament could go to the PGA golf course that they're building there. Logistically, it probably works better than Trinity Forest. Those are just rumors, and like I said, they're just rumors.
How far away are we from that? I do remember reading about that. How far away are we from that facility opening?
Well, I think they scheduled a PGA Championship there in 2026.
Okay. Because I know the contract. I want to say the contract with the Nelson and Trinity is through 2021, I believe, is what I saw on the very reliable source, Wikipedia.
If you look at the economics of golf tournaments, it's only going to make sense for them to kind of cut their teeth a little bit on the golf course before they have a major event, a PGA. So it only makes sense in lining up to having the Byron Nelson there 1 or 2 or 3 years before having a huge major event like the PGA. So I think there's some things in the works. I don't know what the contract is at Trinity Forest, but I think logistically they're having some problems.
Well, it appears so, because nobody wants to play there, and it kills me, man. I grew up watching that tournament, and we played that course in high school. Played one of our district tournaments there, and I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, getting to play on that course with all the history. But, man, I hate that for it. But it is what it is. Hey, business is business, like you said last week.
Money rules the world, baby. But, with that being said, we got the PGA coming to Frisco. We have, I do think that the DFW is getting hammered with the turnout of the pros, with the insertion of the PGA in right in the middle of these two great tournaments in Fort Worth and Dallas. They bring that PGA Championship to town. I think somebody can come to some of these guys can come to town and stay for 3 weeks, and even if they only play 2 of the 3 weeks, they play the week before for a little tune-up, and then play the week after, for the PGA. I think that helps, and it helps greatly. But that's only 1 year. I mean, because the PGA is a moving venue, so it's
those are valid points.
It's gonna help for a little bit, but as long as the PGA is set between the two tournaments that we have here in town, I believe that the golf fans here are going to get screwed as far as the talent, as getting those top players in. And I know that different people have different reasons for not playing and at the Colonial and whatnot, but it's I wish they'd get it fixed, because I miss I miss seeing, those big names, Phil and Tiger and the guys, all of them. DJ, DJ wasn't out there this weekend. Koepka wasn't out there this weekend, and yeah, Koepka wasn't out there. Hell, he's taking a week off. I mean, he wanted he wanted to take a break after he whipped everybody's ass at Bethpage Black, and who could blame him? Even though he didn't kiss his girlfriend twice when he was walking into.
Man, what was that about?
Dude, man is in the zone. He's a machine. Leave him alone.
Dude, kudos though.
I mean,
no disrespect, guys. It's just I don't have a lot of comments on Koepka, so we'll just
move it along. We're gonna move it along.
All right.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this upcoming weekend then.
So I mean, Jack said that place out there. I know that Muirfield was officially dedicated on Memorial Day on May 27th, 1974, and there was an exhibition match between Mr. Nicklaus and Tom Weiskopf, and Jack shot a 6 under 66, which stood as a course record until 1979. I mean, they weren't playing on a goat ranch, but they weren't playing on the same course that they're playing now, for one. So, but then of course, in May of '76 is when the tournament actually started. So that it's a hell of a field. It is another one of those invitationals, and you have trying to think here. You have the past majors winners. You have the guys that were both on the Ryder Cup team, on both teams. You also have the guys are invited that were on the President's Cup teams, in the FedEx Cup rankings that were in the top 70 there. Those guys are invited. Of course, tons of those overlap, but then there's the top 50 in the world golf rankings. I think those are invited out there, and on and on and on to actually fill the field. But I just that place, I've seen pictures, whenever somebody that's been out there and played, and Gerb, I know you, but Jeb's game is a little bit closer to mine. He is better than I am.
What are you trying to say?
But it's just.
I don't know who you're throwing under the bus,
Gerb
or Jeb.
I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. Jeb could hand my ass to me any day on the golf course that he wants to, but I know that I'm a closer player to Jeb than I am to Gerb. And whenever the man came home and told me I'm wore out,
Wow,
it did me in. I mean, and so. But yeah, so as far as multiple winners, we got Tiger out there. He's won 5 times. Mr. Nicklaus was the first multiple winner. He won in 77 and 84. Tiger won in 99, 2000, and 2001, the first back-to-back winner. Also won in 2009 and 2012 before his shit hit the fan. Kenny Perry, I believe, that was Kenny Perry's first tour win, was it not, in 91?
Oh yeah, Big Red. You're a stats guy, and I love it. It's an interesting golf tournament. You see a lot of big name winners that's winning that golf tournament, but you also have 5 in the last 20 years. You have 5 first-time winners.
Yep.
Which is kind of a weird scenario when you think about it that way. You have a guy like Jim McGirt, David Lingmer, Kenny Perry, Carl Peterson, Bart Bryant, right? So you have these guys that's won that golf tournament and is revered as one of the obviously great golf tournaments on tour, great golf courses in the country. And you have 5 first-time winners in 20 years, but you also have the iconic people in the game that's winning the golf tournament too. So it's really one of those deals that if your game is on, you can win.
Yep.
And just again, like I said last week, it just kind of goes to show how good these guys are. I mean, the guy that's 125 on the money list can win a golf tournament.
And it's a worldwide winning course. I mean, we've got
Yeah,
we've got guys from 8 countries that have won it, and
Yeah, and that's what Jack likes. I think. You get him to a spot. It's a true invitational tournament, and you know the committee has done a really good job of inviting international players. They like to invite a couple amateurs. Yeah, I think there's a kid that All-American kid, Will Grimmer, that's playing this year. That I don't know if he graduated, but just played the NCAA championship. That's playing this week. They have a guy, Bob Sowers, that played the tour for a little while. Played well last week. He's a club pro. He's played a couple times. It's a true invitational event.
yes.
And that's what really makes it special, really. I mean, amongst other things.
Yeah, in fact, I just watched the kid from Oklahoma State that UT beat out yesterday in the semis. He is on his way to Muirfield because he is the defending U.S. amateur champ. There's another couple of guys on there that I got to watch this week play the NCAA. They're on their way there. They're this weekend was the NCAA national championship, and some of those guys are finishing up. And it's sad that their college careers have come to an end. But I mean, what a consolation prize, man! I mean, it's even tough to call it a consolation prize whenever you
don't feel sorry for those guys.
Yeah,
They're
whenever you get to go see Jack and play Jack's tournament, and to me that's what's cool is it's Jack's tournament, and and again I keep referring back to it whenever Mr. Nelson was around, it was Mr. Nelson's tournament, and it's tough to see the demise of that tournament, because it's even the same way with the Colonial, man. It's not the same field, it's not the same guys, and I hope that what Jack has brought to this game and what Jack has brought to these people and in our sport that these guys keep coming around even whenever Jack's gone in 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit also too is it's a little bit refreshing to see that the younger guys coming up, the 19, 20-year-olds, that still that still are historians of the game. That Jack is obviously iconic and arguably between him and Tiger, they argue who's the best ever. But Mr. Nelson and even Ben Hogan at the Colonial, the young guy coming up knowing these older players that kind of set the path for the game to what it is today. It's really refreshing to listen to some of the younger kids that can really, really play. The game's changed a lot. They still have the respect, and Jordan Spieth is really a historian of the game,
right? And
he that's really refreshing. It's good to see. That just goes to show you that the game is continually going in a great place, and they still remember these guys.
And you're right, and I know that. And what I don't know is whenever Tiger came on the scene, he was a huge historian. He knew. I mean, he could recite rounds that Jack played, and he was a huge historian of the game, and that
the benchmark, right, for Tiger.
Right, that was his benchmark, not bitchmark, but benchmark, and
kind of a little bit.
So, but do you think that the rest of these young bucks that are coming up, do you think they really know about Mr. Hogan and Mr. Nelson?
I think and I think
Snead and those dudes.
I think the 20% do. I think they care. I think the majority of guys coming up, they just go play, and the money is so different. The money's there's so much money
Thanks
out there.
Tiger.
It's not about winning per se for a lot of the guys. Golf has got to the point. It's a business. If you look at Jack's days and you look at Hogan's days and Byron, they played to win.
Right. Right. I mean, yeah, with Mr. Nelson winning, I don't even remember what the number is, but how many tournaments did he win in a row? I mean,
12.
Yeah, 12 or 13 tournaments in a row. I mean,
that's one of the records in sports that'll never be broken.
Right. So that to me is is what I'm proud of as far as golf is because I would be willing to bet that Zeke couldn't tell you who won the first 10 Super Bowls.
No, I think that applies more to football and probably basketball than it would to like a sport like golf, though.
I'm talking about any sport. Who in any other sport could tell you who won the first 10 world championships of anything? But whenever these young guys come up and they're playing this game, they know they're playing history, especially whenever they walk on the hallowed grounds of Augusta. They know, these guys know who's won that tournament. Right. They know who helped, devise that tournament, who helped build that course.
That's a bit special. Why golf is special that way, right?
Yes.
These guys, they're structured that way. They're growing up in the history of golf, and it's really refreshing. Like I said before, it's really refreshing. I think golf is in a better place now than it was 10 years ago. I think golf is going to be in a better place 10 years from now than it is today. I think the evolution of what's going on right now is great.
And I hope it stays that way.
I hope some of these kids are students of the game, and I hope that they recognize the importance of the tradition of the game and the importance of the traditions of some of these individual tournaments. Right. To carry that along. Lance brought up that point about other sports. I guarantee you there's some 14, 15-year-old Canadian hockey players that can rattle off stats from the 1980 World Cup or the 1980 Olympics or any Stanley Cups, from 1990 on for them. But, he's right, though. His point is correct. It's a unique sport. It's a unique opportunity for young players to make their mark in the sport. And I think having knowledge about the history of it, having respect for the history of the sport, it only helps them as they move on in their professional career.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of the physical aspect, athletic abilities, the training has changed a lot in the last 15, 20 years. That's obviously the Tiger effect. But you're looking at golfers now. The guys who play golf, they're athletes. I mean, they're athletes.
Yeah, I'm way behind. I'm way behind the curve, brother. I'm way behind the curve.
What? No. The competitive athletes.
No, I'm competitive.
Oh, yeah, what?
I'm competitive. I have a competitive mind.
He is competitive.
I have a competitive
bags.
mindset, John Gerber. I have a competitive mindset, and every time I go out there, I want to beat somebody at something.
What you do, you just beat yourself. You beat somebody, you just beat yourself.
You play against yourself and you lose.
Mark that. But no, man, I love this game, and I know you do too, and Timmy does, and I hope some of our listeners do. But this game has brought joy to me, has brought pain to me. I've spent more money on this. This is not a hobby. This is a passion. And but so let's. I want to get into some Memorial Tournament gimmies. Just some quick facts about the Memorial. Did you know that Jack and his folks out there at the Memorial annually build 120,000 square feet of temporary tent structures and 1,553 temporary grandstand seats for the tournament every year? I mean,
absolutely.
They're building that shit out there, but the hospitality tents, and I'm sure that's growing every year. So, because I know that whenever when I was working out at Colonial, and I keep referring back to this. When I first started working out there were some hospitality tents, but they weren't out there on the course, and then 13 took off with the caddy races and crap like that, and then they started building the hospitality tents out there behind 13th green. So that's building everywhere. There has never been a Southpaw. Southpaw has never won the the Memorial.
My God, that's impressive.
Yeah, we were.
You sure about that?
Uh-oh.
Give
Is
it
there
to
a
me.
challenge?
Well, listen. No, that was a question because you're saying facts that I don't even know. So, are you sure you're not from Columbus, or are you sure you're not from?
Mike Weir was the closest person to ever closest left-hander to ever win the tournament in 2008 when he finished in a 4-way tie for second place.
Well, if Phil didn't, that's another. I won't go into that story, but yeah, okay, we'll just go that route.
Phil never won it.
He won in a lot of other ways, but
Did he ever win the tournament?
no.
Okay, that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
I
Chutall.
thought John threw the challenge flag at you for a minute, man. I was ready to go.
I almost felt like I got hit in the head with a red flag there for a minute. Shit.
Damn.
How about the longest time to wait of the 6 multiple winners at the Memorial Tournament? Tom Watson, the great Tom Watson, who just a big hero, golf hero of mine, went the longest distance between victories. His first Memorial title was in 1979. He went 17 years before he won again in 1996.
Good Lord.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I mean, 1996, we're talking, that's 12 years ago.
I wasn't even born in 1996.
Liar. I went to your class reunion, I know.
That is true.
So we were talking about the Memorial being a worldwide tournament. Johnny, we have 8 countries. We know the U.S. is represented. Do you know can you give me the other 7 countries represented with a Memorial title?
You did not give him prep time for this.
No, I did not.
Yeah, off the top of my head, yeah. So I have 6 more to give you.
You have 7 more to give me, sir.
Fiji.
Fiji, yes. Vijay Singh.
Arkansas.
I'm not even looking up on my phone. I
Right.
won't-
The latest one was Japan.
DeChambeau, is he from this country, or he's from?
DeChambeau is from this town. He's from this town. He's not. Yeah, he's from this country, and he's from this town. Even though he's got a funky name, it is. Yeah, he's still just SMU. So you got the latest one
Don't tell him he wants to guess.
was what 2 or 3 years ago. Hideki Matsuyama.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he's from Spain, isn't he?
No, that would not be.
I think he's from Little Rock.
No, yeah, you got Matsuyama. If I'm going through, I'm not even going through. Justin Rose, I believe.
Yes, sir. You got that one. That's
he won
good.
in 2010.
Yep.
English. I
Yep.
want to say KJ Choi won in 05, 06.
Yes, sir.
Korean.
Yes, sir. South Korea.
Ernie won once or twice.
Yes, sir. Ernie won once.
Ernie won once or twice.
So you've got VJ, you've got Ernie, you've got KJ, Justin, and Hideki. There are 2 left. One you should probably get pretty easy. The other one was the one that I couldn't get, and I had to look him
David
up.
Lindmarth is from Sweden.
David Lingmerth. I don't think he won the tournament.
David Winworth won in 2014 or 15. He was his first win.
Well-
He's originally from Sweden.
Okay,
So he's-
one of the
and
2.
Carl Peterson,
That-
another first-time winner.
That's who I had was
They're
Carl
both-
Peterson
they're
from
both-
Sweden. You're missing one country.
Well, listen,
Dun,
you know I can't mention Greg Norman, so
Dun,
yeah,
dun.
if that's what you want to consider a win, or yes, he's
Yes.
from Australia.
yes, Greg Norman. So yes,
He got him? Did he get them
Yeah,
all?
he got them all. We have a winner.
Yeah.
Golf claps for everybody.
Do I get a koozie out of that, boys, or what do I get?
Well,
You get a free golf lesson
hey,
from
you know,
Lance.
you get a free golf lesson from me, and I happen to have a koozie with your name on it. How about that?
I appreciate it, guys.
All right. So, major fact: Memorial Tournament winners have captured a total of 67 combined major championships today.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
it's a heavy field, man. Everybody wants to come see Jack.
I believe it's one of the only 2 or 3 golf courses in the United States that's hosted a Ryder and a President's Cup. Is that right?
Yes, that is right. You are correct, sir.
And a Solheim Cup. Maybe the only ones hosted all 3.
So what is what's the course record out there, Johnny?
I want to say it's John Houston at 60 or 61.
61, yes, sir.
Damn.
Yes,
On
sir.
which 9 did he shoot that?
We're not talking about you. We're not. We are not talking about
That
you,
was over
baby.
all 18?
Yes, that was a 61. That
God.
was 18. That was not a. That was.
That's
Yeah, it was impressive. Thanks.
President's Ryder and
Let's see. I got one more. Twice as
Is that
sweet.
right? Yeah, John Houston at 60 or 61?
Yes, sir. He won it. He shot a 11 under 61.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was. I knew you'd get that. I just didn't know that you would know who. But I'm impressed. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, to go back to that stat, I think it's the only golf course in the U.S. that's held a Solheim, a Ryder Cup, and a President's Cup. I do. And a USAM.
And a USM. Yes.
I'm nodding my head in the affirmative, but I have no idea if that's accurate.
He's just kind of playing along
I look
today.
good on camera, though.
All right, let's talk about some money being won out there this weekend. We've got the 2019 Memorial Prize money, $9.1 million.
What?
Yeah,
Is that accurate?
that's accurate.
All right, I
That's
believe
accurate. I actually took that. I went and looked for it, and I took it from the Memorial site.
What was the Masters? It was 11 something, right?
Well, it's a major.
I know, but I mean, I'm saying that's impressive that
Yeah.
how close it is to
Yes.
the same person
Yes.
as the Masters.
I mean, so the winner this week will walk away with somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.64 million. Second place will leave with just shy of $1 million, and it goes down, 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 down.
But they have to like pay their pit crew out of that, right? They got to
70th place, Johnny. 70th place. What do you think 70th place is going to leave with?
70th place. Well,
$1 million.
no, 70th place is going to probably get you about 42,000.
No, it's actually 70th place walks away with just shy of $19,000.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, there's
Somebody feels like they're getting robbed.
they're spreading a lot of money around. I mean, dude, you make the cut, you make damn near $20,000. I know 18 and 20s, there's a difference there, but I mean, we're just rounding shit up. I'm doing some red deck rounding.
You're looking at a tournament that's a short field, 92 players or 100 players, whatever. It's not the typical field. So, to be honest with you, guys who got invited, you got to really play bad, or you drink too many milkshakes.
Yeah, I would be walking around like a bloated fat ass with all the fucking milkshakes and hot dogs I'd eat. So
So is John? Do you know if my favorite golfer in the world right now, Jazz Janawatananon, is playing?
We talked about that last time, and God bless you. So yeah,
God bless you.
in the world.
I love that guy. I don't know why.
So yeah, you did a lot better job than I did to say his last name, and you're very good at this. Very good at this.
Well, I've had a few drinks, so my tongue's a little loose, so it's easier to enunciate right now.
You better get home. Your wife's on the air.
He's playing this week, I think, at the Memorial.
Is he? Oh God, I hope so.
That's what he was asking. So
No,
yeah, yeah.
playing.
So
right.
yeah. So Lauren's on the air. Tim, we may need to cut this short so Tim can get home.
Nah, she's probably in the tub. She's good.
But anyway, let's get to the reason for the season. Let's make some money, Johnny. I know that you hooked us up last week. What, who, when, where, and how much money am I going to make this weekend?
Okay, again, it's a bit like last week. It's a very tough spot. The Colonial was wedged. Type of golf courses between the PGA Championship, a big ballpark, going from Ballpark, or as Tim would say, Murfield Valley. at Murfield Valley. That's a
Yeah,
big
Muirfield Valley. Muirfield Valley.
big ballpark.
Way to go,
Hey.
way to go, dummy.
Maybe they're going to change it. Maybe I have breaking news.
Apologies and corrections. Unlike Monday, you will
I'll-
have a correction to make.
I will call my guys that are the Captain's Club and see if they can give you an honorary membership for
To Muirfield Valley.
Well, it's Ohio. It's famous for valleys, okay? It made sense in my head when I said it.
Valleys, really?
The Ohio Valley.
I've never seen a valley in Ohio, but okay.
Yeah, neither have I.
Holy Lord.
Again, this is kind of a tweener tournament. I mean, last week was a tweener tournament, and I'm looking at some guys that kind of, maybe rested last week at Colonial, but still kind of played well. That their game is, it's really, really tough. I don't think these guys. I think most of these guys are going to take a week off next week that are playing well to go to Canada before the U.S. Open. My first pick this week, I don't think he played last week at Colonial. I like Patrick Cantley this week, to be honest with you.
Patrick Cantley. No, I do not believe I saw his name on the tee sheet, not on the Sunday round. So Patrick Cantley, what's his odds?
I also have Patrick on my sheet, by the way. I have an odds sheet.
One at 60 to 1.
Damn.
I don't know. Like I said, he didn't play last week. He played really solid in the last couple of rounds at the PGA Championship. It's a similar type of golf course, a lot of elevation, high ball hitter. It's looking like the Murfield. Usually this time of year up there, the weather's kind of shitty. A lot of rain, cooler temperatures. He's a California guy. He's a bit of a grinder. But he's a high ball hitter, and I think he can move in a lot of different ways. I think he's the type of player. He hasn't achieved. He's an underachiever.
Aren't we all?
So
And
Patrick Cantley at 16 to 1. That's the closest to a favorite I've heard you take, even though you and I've been talking about this for months. So
I just think he's due. Listen, the next guy. I think the next guy I've picked the last few weeks. You've heard about it. I think his game is very versatile. He can play. He's playing Colonial. He's playing Murfield. He played well this week at Colonial. He's only won one time. It's a matter of time. He gets on a run. And, Tony Finau at 20 to 1. At 20 to 1.
I like Tony.
With his high ball flight, him able to move it. He's a big guy.
And able to pound the shit out of the ball.
The thing about Tony is this. He's playing Colonial, played last week. He didn't lose last week. He got beat.
Right. Yes, you are correct.
Kevin Na shot 4 under. He didn't lose. He
Absolutely.
got beat. Big difference.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Tony Finau is he's aching. He's aching to win a big tournament.
I like him. He ran off at 20 to 1. Like I said, he's due to just get on a run. Memorial is kind of notorious for under guys that are not super high profile guys that are going to win. My last guy, this golf course suits him to a T. I don't know why he's not winning more. I think he's one of the most talented guys on tour. He's coming off at 35 to 1. Is Adam Scott.
Adam Scott is
Isn't that the dude from Parks and Recreation?
I don't.
He's from Spain, I think.
I don't watch Parks and Recreation,
Well, you
and
should.
no, he's not from
It's a great
fucking
TV show.
Spain.
I know.
But
Is he Canadian?
Same thing.
No, he's not Canadian. And
Those-
is Tiger's old caddy looping for him this week? I know that sometimes he.
Fluff?
No, not Fluff.
It doesn't matter who's got no. It doesn't matter. Fluff's not caddy. Fluff's caddy for.
I'm not talking about Fluff. I'm talking about Tiger's
He's
old
with
caddy.
Furyk now, right?
Yeah, he's with Furyk. He's been with
No,
Furyk.
Stevie Williams. Not caddy.
Right.
Hey, look, to be honest with you, it doesn't matter who caddies for Adam Scott. Adam Scott caddies for himself. Doesn't
Well,
matter.
I know that Steve has been caddying for Adam when it comes to major tournaments and big tournaments. That's why I was asking that question. I'd heard that yes, during majors, Steve will caddy for caddy for Adam, and I just wondered if maybe Adam considered this enough of a major, being that he hasn't won Jack's tournament, that he would he'd call Stevie over and have him loop for him.
I'm looking at a couple guys that kind of fits the mold in terms of the tournament of kind of first-time winners. Like I said, over the past 20 years, you got five first-time winners.
Who is my ham sandwich?
So you always
Thought that was me.
You always want me to give you a ham sandwich and a bologna
I
sandwich.
want a ham sandwich and a bologna sandwich because I know
Wait,
that.
explain what that is for those like me that don't know.
Okay, so a ham sandwich is a little better cut of meat than a bologna sandwich. Bologna sandwich is kind of all podgecast together. And
Right. It
Take
is
a
the
fly-
hot dog of sandwiches.
I grew up on bologna sandwiches, bro.
They both miss to cut. The kind of guys that are kind of off the board, you don't get a lot of odds on, or they could potentially be field bets. Charlie Hawkins playing pretty solid right now.
I'm
Couldn't
sorry.
get-
Hang on, Johnny. You cut out there
Say
a
his
little
name
bit.
again.
Charlie Hoffman.
Oh
Gotcha.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mr. Waste Management himself.
Yeah, he's played well. He plays well there. I'll give you a guy that it wouldn't shock me if he won, and he fits the mold of a first-time winner. He hits it far. Luke List. Look at Luke List.
Luke List. Okay.
The
So
unstably
that's-
named Luke List.
That's my bologna sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay. And what?
My only rub with Adam Scott is I don't really trust anyone that has two first names.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that's
Thank
kind
you.
of.
Exactly. Right
So-
there with you.
I don't like facial hair with two first names.
Hey, whoa.
Hang on. Wait.
First,
You didn't
first-
like my golf bag. You didn't
first-
like the fact that I carried multiple putters. You didn't like the fact that I didn't have a 60 degree, and you don't like my facial hair.
I'm more worried about I have a lot more than you.
You got facial hair, Big Red.
He didn't even know.
It's kind of
Yeah.
blends in. It's gray. I'm sorry.
Well, mine is very noticeable because I have none up top and all of it on my face.
Well, it's
But that's okay.
Shit migrated.
So, hey, John, I got 3 people specifically to ask you about. I want you to think about them.
Okay.
According to CBS Sports, Rory McIlroy, I kind of hate that name because I can't say it, is their odds-on favorite at 8-1. What do you think about him?
He's the book favorite. Yep.
I mean, if you look at his trend in Murfield Village, I mean, well, I don't know how many. I don't think he's finished in the top 10 or top 15 ever. First off,
Right.
Makes sense.
He is probably the best driver of the ball in the field.
yeah, but he's playing. I mean, he's not playing very well.
I don't understand why he keeps getting picked in these tournaments because you're right. He is not playing well. He has
Well,
not
to be honest,
shown well.
He's probably the most talented guy out there.
That's why we don't call CBS. We call John Gerber for our picks.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a guy. You look at a guy like that who's super talented that way. He's young. He got a lot of money. He just got married or getting married. I mean, is golf his priority? He just signed a $250 million deal 2 years ago with Nike. And what's his motivation? I mean, he has the Irish Open coming up, or the British Open that's in Ireland. That's his premium event. I don't know. I don't have any insight on him.
I just thought it was odd that he was their odds-on favorite. I didn't really understand that.
Every week he's odds on favorite.
'Cause he's
Every tournament he plays, he is.
He's probably the highest ranked, world ranked player in the field.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, so what about Tiger? CBS has him at 12-1.
That's a tough call. I mean, he really, he looked worn down at the PGA Championship, right?
Yeah,
He did look tired.
he looked beat down.
Tiger's not going to give you an insight on really what's going on. He's always been that way all his life. You can look at his body language and see if he's healthy or not. What has he really been doing the last couple of weeks? Has he been practicing? Has he been resting? This golf course,
Or has he been drinking?
It's not this golf. Well, he likes to drink. Let's get that crystal. He probably is, but let's get this right. That golf course at Murfield Village is not an easy walk at all.
I don't walk golf courses, so it doesn't bother me.
It's the weather is going to be fine. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be, it's going to be cooler conditions. It's going to be wet. it's a hard walk for these guys. What is his conditioning is? Has he been able to work out? Has he been resting? I don't know. I mean, I don't see him as somebody this week. Even though he has a great track record there, it's hard to put money on him because his last 2 or 3 weeks, you don't know. There's too many variables.
Gotcha. So the last guy I want to ask you about is last week's winner, Kevin Na. Why isn't he considered more of a favorite coming off of a win? He's got, I don't know, is momentum a thing in golf?
Horses for courses.
Again, it's
Or the type of course?
Yeah, it's 100% golf course structure. This golf course is like Bethpage. It's hilly. It's a golf course that's very, very. You have to carry the ball a long way. If you watched the tournament last week, he hit a lot of low singers, a lot of low 3-woods to get the ball running. This is not even close to the type of golf course that you're able to do that. You have a lot of 250, 260 carries get to the fairway. His ball flight doesn't allow him to do that. So he picks and chooses his golf course. Listen, Kevin Na is one.
We're kind of losing you, John. I don't know if you pulled the phone away from your mouth or not, but we're having a hard time hearing you.
Can you hear me better?
There it is. Yeah.
It's a lot better. I was worried that Jeb was holding your phone while you're drinking a Mambo taxi or some shit going on there.
No, that golf course is the same type of golf course as Bethpage. You know, you have a lot of carries. You have to hit the ball high.
Gotcha.
You know, it's not the type of golf course that suits him well. The only good thing about Kevin Na right now, he's playing good. He's putting good.
Sweet.
You know,
all right.
But I don't think he doesn't have the length. You're looking at a golf course that's going to play 7,500 yards soft. He can't carry the ball far enough. He's going to be hitting rescues and things like that in the greens.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. Especially if they get any kind of moisture this week, or leading into the tournament, that it's going to make that 7,300 yard course even longer.
It's going to play
crazy.
long. It's going to play soft. Listen, if the course conditions were a little bit different and it was firm and fast up there, yeah, maybe because all the guys can fly it pretty far, but they get no run. I mean, he's going to be hitting 3 woods and 3 irons and rescue holes that the guys can fly pretty far.
I'm not going to call you out, bro. I'm not going to call you out. I promise.
I will. It kind of sounds like you're taking a leak right now. I'm not going to lie.
No. I'm sorry. I washed my hands, guys. Sorry.
Sounds like you're somewhere around the porcelain goddess, and we understand because we
got to go right now.
We've kept you for almost an hour, and Timmy and I are doing the pee-pee dance, sitting here behind the table. But
do you have anything else on the tournament this weekend? Because
no,
I got one thing to bring up to John real quick.
Yes, Timmy found an article, and it's some information that I had not heard, and we want to get an inside view on it. So hit it, Timmy.
So, John, have you heard about this proposed new rule for next season regarding the cut for tournaments?
I have not, but they revised the rule last year in terms of they have a secondary cut, but I haven't heard the next one.
So what I found was, and I don't know this guy, but he works for the Golf Channel, Rex Hoggard.
Yeah, Rex Hoggard. He's a good. Yeah,
So
He's a good dude. So he's reliable, right?
Johnny, give the folks a definition of a secondary cut. You mentioned a secondary cut. Give the folks a definition of a secondary cut.
Okay, so basically the PGA Tour in a 156-man field, you get cut to 60 in ties. Okay, so if there's ties after 36 holes and you have 78 players or 80 players, it goes back to 60 in ties, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically it's for speed of play and it's for television.
Right. It's all about the money.
That makes sense.
You get paid for making the 36-hole cut, but it's the same pay. You know, if you finish 80 to 60, you get paid the same, and then the guys play the weekend or the 18, the last round.
So the article that Rex Hoggard had talked about, and this just came out, I think, last Friday. He says the tour is poised to lower the amount of players making the cut at regular events from the top 70 in ties to the top 65 at ties.
Yep.
As a compromise with tour pros, the unpopular secondary cut will also be eliminated. So he goes on to say that with fewer people making the cut each week, it means more prize money to be distributed. And also, according to him, he said the Players Advisory Council chose to allocate the higher percentage to winners, 20% ahead of the current 18%, rather than spread it among the larger field. He says that the tour's policy board has approved the new measure and asked the Players Advisory Council to review it. And they agreed to support the change after meeting earlier this month with the Wells Fargo Championship. So,
Yeah, internally, I'm not sure how that works. I think most people don't realize the PGA and the PGA Tour are two separate entities.
right.
Yes.
The PGA Tour itself
Yep.
is ran its own deal. The PGA of America and the PGA Tour. The PGA of America, the only intersection that they have with the PGA Tour is the PGA Championship, and the PGA of America owns the Ryder Cup.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the PGA of America owns the Ryder Cup and the PGA Championship. Other than that, the PGA Tour owns every event, except the Masters. Now, the Masters is a different entity.
Right.
There's some sort of subsidiary. I don't really know how it works with them.
But they're owned by themselves, basically, right?
Yeah, they're their own deal, right?
Gotcha.
Now, the USGA events is owned by, the U.S. Open, blah, 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 is owned by the USGA. But, so I think PGA Tour has its own pension. PGA of America has its own pension. They're separate entities. I don't know why they're doing that. I think maybe it's, I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, you're asking me a question. I don't know. I'll investigate it. I'd like to know myself. I think, obviously, like we talked about before, money runs things. I don't know if it's a dollar thing with television. They want, there's too long on TV. It's a slow play issue. There's too many players. I don't know.
Or maybe they're just making a change for the sake of mixing things up a little bit. I don't know. I do like the fact that they agreed to, even though there's less people making the cut, it's more money. I do like that they're allocating the majority of that extra money towards the top finishers instead of just spreading it out throughout the field. I think that's a good idea.
I actually like the opposite.
Oh, really? You'd like them to spread it out?
Well, listen, the guy who, there's a money list on the PGA Tour that they structure on the top 125 that you keep your card for the next year. But the guy who finished 125 is making $1.8 million. So let's not feel sorry for him, right?
No, I understand.
He's making another $500,000 probably endorsement contracts.
Do I hear something about Mr. Gerber maybe making another run? Is that
A what?
Is another run? Another run at the tour? I mean, dude, we've got three guys that can loop you again. We'll have to cut it up like every 6 holes or so, but you've got 3 guys. 2 of them know your game pretty good. I can fill Timmy in on the rest of it.
I can look pretty.
And I mean, if you want to make another run, brother, hey,
Like run what? To do what?
to play.
He wants you to go back on
I
tour.
want you to do it. And I don't want to state the obvious, but I mean,
So let's go. Let's say this again. Again, the guys who finished 120.
You're not as old as I am, but you're close.
No, like I said before, listen, competition is everything to me, and
Yes.
this is how, this is a great thing, and this is how it transcends to my students.
I'm a student.
I'm content. I want Big Red. I just want to get you better. I think my
I
whole
want
love
you to
that.
be on the tour.
And every once in a while, I got to see Tim out to the
I'm gonna drag Timmy out there.
Highlands Performance Golf Center. I haven't seen him out there yet.
No, but dude, I have plans to come out. I'm gonna have Lance drag me out there, and I'll show you my swing.
I'm
And
fixing to get my clearance from the
see how
doctor
hard you can
tomorrow.
laugh.
I'm fixing to get my clearance from the doctor tomorrow, and I'm gonna come out there and start beating balls. And it may be yours, it may be Max's, it may be Tim's, but I'm gonna beat balls, and we are going to get this golf game where I think it needs to be, where I have pictured it to be for a long time. So, Johnny, we thank you so much for joining us this week again, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate your friendship and your support. Timmy,
means the world, man. It means the world.
Yeah.
again, you can meet John yourself. Talk to him at the Highlands Performance Golf Center at 2538 Golden Bear Drive in Carrollton, Texas. It's right there off Trinity Mills, if I'm not mistaken. If you're headed, eastbound on Trinity Mills before you get to the tollway, I believe, you'll find Golden Bear Drive, and they are located there. They're at 972-733-4111 on the web at golfcenteratthehighlands.com. And I'm sure he would love to take your phone calls, meet you in person, and help you get that swing where you need it to be.
Yeah, we want to thank Mr. Jeb and Daddy Tom Brown for watching RJ, Bruce and Miss Lauren, Cody Walden, my stepson Aaron Gibbs, Brian Shoop.
Let's let Johnny go before
Max,
you go into the whole freaking list here.
I'm
sure he needs
almost
to go.
done. Max Adams, Tony Ellis, and Sheila Walters. Sheila Allgood Walters. I went to high school with her. There's some stories that
At school back then?
probably yes. Just a year or so older than you are. But again, Johnny, thank you so much for joining us, brother. We appreciate you so much. I will.
We'll do this again after.
I'm gonna go get my clearance tomorrow from the doctor, and then
I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure to talk with you guys. We got the U.S. Open in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, we're gonna love that.
We have the demo days out to Highlands Performance Golf Center.
Yeah, let's plug that.
You guys are coming out for a full live
We
deal
are.
out there.
Yeah, we're gonna get it set up out there. We're gonna either make some folks really happy or make some folks really mad, because I may be walking around with a wireless mic and stick it in their face while they're trying some of these new clubs out. But
So let's talk about that for a second. That's demo days of the Highland Performance Golf Center, and that is on June
15th.
15th.
15th, Saturday. It's a Saturday, the U.S. Open, the 15th from 10 to 2.
All right.
There's going to be 5 or 6 sculptor, TaylorMade, Ping, Titleist, demo days.
All the big dogs.
It's going to be a fun event. We're going to have some giveaways. Putt. It's going to be a fun event. It's going to be great to have you guys out. Hit some golf shots. It's going to be a fun day, the Saturday of the U.S. Open.
I can't wait.
Awesome, man.
I can't wait.
We appreciate you coming on, Johnny. Go get you something to eat, hang out with Mr. Jeb and Daddy, and we'll talk to you next time.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
All right,
Love you, brother.
Thanks for coming to.
There he is, Mr. John Gerber, our local PGA teaching pro.
I just got hung up in my my
That's why
headphones.
you could never wear dangly earrings in the 80s.
That's why I didn't wear earrings, because my daddy would have ripped them out.
I had to hide mine.
Well, that's the difference in me and you. I just didn't hide shit.
No. So that is our golf preview show. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope it was informative. We hope it was somewhat entertaining. We are.
How are we not entertaining?
We have we're several beers in, and I gotta piss like a racehorse. But you can reach us on the internet, that intraweb thing that's supposed to be
interwebs.
worldwide. I'm on Twitter at IndyCarTim. He is at DrunkBigRed. The show Twitter is at DrunkSportsDFW. You can email us at thedrunksportspodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, our Facebook page. We hope you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope /Twitter, and LinkedIn. And good God, Lance can't keep his headphones out of his freaking microphone stand. So
Fix to have a wrestling match. I'm going to arm wrestle this freaking microphone.
So before we get into any more trouble, and hey, thanks to Mr. Big Max Adams for showing up, our only person in the live studio audience tonight. We don't really promo these golf shows too much, but he wanted to come out and hang out and drink a few beers with us, and he is doing so. If you would like to do that, email us and ask permission before you just show up, because we don't like strangers, but once we meet you, you're not a stranger.
And I don't give my address out just to anybody.
Nope. Email us, tweet us, whatever. We'll talk to you if you live in the Little Elm /Aubrey /Krugerville /Denton, McKinney, whatever, Frisco area. We'd love to have you in to watch the show. As always, Sunday, actually, we will be Sunday, 8 p.m. at the Horny Toad Cafe and Bar in Denton.
Come have a beer with us.
Yes,
at
come
the
have a
Horny
beer.
Toad on Sunday, starting at 8 o'clock.
Do some shots. We're going to do our regular show. We will post about it, tweet about it, let you know what we're going to talk about. We'll probably have a microphone on stage if you would like to come up and ask us questions live and in person. I've not talked to Lance about that yet.
You
but I
can
was
you can
planning
ask
to do
all the
that.
questions you want. I may not have an answer, but I will give you some kind of bullshit line that only Tim would understand.
So, yes, we hope to see you there. And that is located on the north side of Denton at the I-35 and the north side loop interchange. 8 o'clock again, be there. We'd love to meet you. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Saturday, the 15th of June,
Yes, sir.
we will be out at the Highlands Performance Golf Center for their demo days. Lots of fun going on out there. We'd love to see you there as well. So, until next time, we will see you. And Lance, take us out of here.
Again, as always, we hope that y'all have found happiness as we have, and just doing the things that you love, because we love talking to y'all and having fun like we do. Y'all stay safe, have fun, enjoy each other, take care of each other. Remember what life is all about. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Drunk Sports Podcast. Join us next time for more Drunk Sports Talk with Lance and Tim. Until next time, here's to ya.
This is the funnest night ever.
We're all drunk.